Hello, and welcome to Reality TV News Update, where you'll find the most recent news, entertaining moments, and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Although Big Brother is always watching, it is your turn to be on the other side of the camera right now. Big Brother, the long-running CBS reality show, is now casting for a new season, and this time it is bringing the search to the Northeast. On Tuesday, April 21, producers will hold an in-person casting call at MGM Grand Casino on 1 MGM Way in Springfield, Massachusetts from 2 to 6 p.m. A time slot does not need to be reserved. Anyone is welcome to audition. Big Brother holds open calls across the country each year. Even so, the chances to meet face-to-face are few. This makes it especially useful for fans in the area who are willing to travel. The applicants will meet the producers at the audition. They will be asked to show their personality and explain why they belong on the show. Standing out is key. Those who perform well may be invited to participate in the upcoming season of the popular competition show. The casting call came quietly at first, just another announcement tucked between headlines and social media scrolls. However, to thousands of dreamers in the Northeast, it was like a door opening. The well-known CBS reality competition show Big Brother was once more looking for new house guests, and this time the spotlight was firmly on hopeful contestants from the Northeast. The news struck Boston bartender Mia Thompson, 26, like a lightning bolt. She had spent years imagining herself playing the high-stakes social game and watching alliances form and fall, studying every move made by previous players. It no longer felt like a fantasy at this point. It felt possible. "I've been preparing for this my whole life," she said, laughing nervously as she adjusted her phone camera. She had just read through the official casting guidelines. Applicants had to be at least 21 years old, a U.S. citizen, and ready to be filmed 24/7 in a house filled with strangers. It sounded ferocious. It sounded terrifying. It sounded perfect. Personality has always trumped strategy in the Big Brother casting process. The producers are looking for people who stand out, not just fans of the show. People who can command tension, spark drama, and tell a compelling story. Mia knew that meant one thing. Her audition video had to be unforgettable. She spent hours scripting ideas, only to throw them away. The instructions were clear: be authentic, be bold, and don't overthink it. So, instead of pretending to be someone else, Mia leaned into who she really was: loud, witty, and unapologetically honest. She filmed herself in her small apartment, talking directly to the camera like she was already inside the house. "My strategy," she said in one take and smiled, "make people love me and then make them regret it." Meanwhile, in a quiet suburb of Philadelphia, Marcus Reed, a 34-year-old high school teacher, was having a very different experience. He had never considered appearing on reality television, but his students had other ideas. After months of encouragement and a little peer pressure, they convinced him to apply. "You're always talking about social dynamics and psychology," one student had said. "Why not test it for real?" Marcus hesitated. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't dramatic, but he understood people, and in Big Brother, that could be just as powerful. His audition video reflected that. He spoke thoughtfully about trust, manipulation, and human behavior as he sat calmly in front of a bookshelf. He didn't shout, he didn't perform, he simply explained how he would observe, adapt, and outthink his competitors. He stated, "I won't be the loudest person in the room, but I might be the most dangerous." This kind of contrast was exactly what casting directors were looking for as they looked over applications from across the Northeast. The clash between extroverts and introverts, strategists and wildcards, dreamers and schemers is what makes Big Brother so captivating. The Northeast casting push was part of a broader effort to bring fresh voices into the house.
Over the years, the show has evolved, reflecting a wider backgrounds, identities, and life experiences. This season promised to continue that trend, with producers eager to find contestants who could represent the region's unique energy. Back in Boston, Mia hit submit on her application. The moment felt surreal. There was no assurance that she would respond. In fact, the odds were slim. Thousands would apply. Only a handful would make it. But that was a component of the thrill. Days turned into weeks. Mia tried not to think about it, but every unknown number that flashed on her phone made her heart race. On the other hand, Marcus assumed that life would continue as usual when he returned to his classroom. Then, one afternoon, everything turned around. Mia was in the middle of a shift when her phone buzzed. She almost ignored it, but something told her not to. She stepped outside, hands shaking, and answered. "Hi, this is casting from Big Brother." The remainder she missed. Her mind went blank, her body frozen between disbelief and excitement. All those nights watching the show, all those imagined scenarios, they were suddenly real. Marcus got an email almost simultaneously. He read it twice, then a third time just to be sure. He had been chosen to continue the casting process. He sat back in his chair, stunned. Maybe his students were right. The next phase was even more intense. Interviews, psychological evaluations, background checks. Producers wanted to know everything. Strengths, weaknesses, fears, secrets. Contestants weren't just players, they were stories waiting to unfold. Mia thrived under the spotlight, her charisma shining through every interaction. Meanwhile, Marcus surprised even himself, opening up about his life, his motivations, and his quiet determination to win. Both of them found themselves on the brink of a life-altering event as the final cast list emerged. For Mia, it was a chance to prove she was more than just a loud personality, that she could play the game and win. In the ultimate social experiment, Marcus had the chance to step outside of his comfort zone and test his understanding of human nature. The iconic doors would only be opened to one of them. Only one would hear the phrase, "Welcome to the Big Brother house." But in many ways, they had already won, because they took the leap. They dared to believe that an ordinary person from the Northeast could become part of something extraordinary. And somewhere, in a casting office filled with videos, applications, and dreams, producers at CBS were watching, deciding, and building the next chapter of Big Brother, one house guest at a time.
Big Brother is opening its doors once again. And this time, aspiring house guests in the Northeast have a golden opportunity to step into one of reality television's most iconic competitions. With casting calls expanding across the region, CBS is searching for bold personalities, strategic thinkers, and unforgettable characters ready to compete for the grand prize and, more importantly, national attention. For fans who have spent years watching alliances form, betrayals unfold, and dramatic evictions play out, the idea of entering the Big Brother house can feel like a dream. That fantasy is now closer than ever. The fact that casting directors are actively encouraging applicants from northeastern states to submit their auditions is a sign that the upcoming season is going to be about fresh ideas and diverse voices. A chance to be seen. Big Brother has always thrived on its casting, from masterminds who manipulate every move to underdogs who win America's hearts. The show depends on a mix of personalities that can spark both conflict and connection. CBS appears to be taking advantage of a region known for its strong identities, cultural diversity, and outspoken individuals by concentrating on the Northeast. Whether you're from a bustling city like Boston or a quieter town in Vermont, casting directors are less interested in where you live and more focused on who you are. They want authenticity. They want people who are unafraid to speak their minds, take risks, and fully commit to the social experiment that unfolds inside the house. What directors of casting are looking for? There is no one-size-fits-all method for becoming a Big Brother house guest, but there are a few traits that always stand out. Personality is the most important aspect. Contestants must be engaging enough to hold viewers' attention for an entire season. This doesn't necessarily mean being loud or dramatic. It means being real, memorable, and emotionally expressive. Strategic thinking is another key element. At its core, Big Brother is a game of manipulation and survival. A significant advantage accrues to applicants who can demonstrate their capacity to anticipate multiple steps ahead, adapt to shifting alliances, and comprehend social dynamics. Finally, confidence is crucial. Candidates are required to make a bold presentation during the casting process itself, frequently through video submissions. Producers want to see that you can handle the pressure of constant surveillance and feel at ease being yourself on camera. How to apply? Big Brother's application process is straightforward but competitive. The majority of applicants start by completing an online application via the CBS's official casting website. This includes basic personal information, a questionnaire about your background and personality, and a short audition video. The video is arguably the most important part of the process. This is your chance to stand out among thousands of applicants. Casting directors recommend keeping it natural and unscripted. Instead of trying to mimic past contestants, focus on telling your own story. What makes you unique? Why would you be a compelling house guest? What strategies would you bring into the game? In addition to online submissions, CBS occasionally hosts open casting calls in select cities. These events allow applicants to meet casting producers in person and make a direct impression. For Northeast hopefuls, keeping an eye on announcements about local casting events could provide a valuable edge. How to make your auditions stand out. Many applicants make the mistake of overthinking their audition. Instead of displaying who they truly are, they strive to create a perfect version of themselves. However, casting producers are able to quickly recognize fakery. One of the best strategies is to treat the audition like a conversation. Speak directly to the camera as if you're talking to a friend. Share personal anecdotes that reveal your character, your humor, and your perspective on life. Energy is also important. Big Brother is a high-intensity environment, and producers want contestants who can keep that energy alive. Being enthusiastic and engaged is more important than shouting or exaggerating in this situation. Be specific is another important piece of advice. Instead of saying you're competitive, explain how. Perhaps you have excelled in debates, thrived in high-pressure work environments, or dominated sports. Concrete examples make your personality more believable and memorable. Life inside the house. For those who make it through casting, life in the Big Brother house is unlike anything else. Contestants are cut off from the outside world. No phones, no internet, no contact with family or friends. Every action is recorded, and every conversation could be used in a strategic way. House guests must navigate weekly competitions, nominations, and evictions, all while maintaining relationships with people who could either save them or send them home. It's a delicate balance between trust and deception. The experience can be mentally and emotionally challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding. Many former contestants describe it as life-changing, offering opportunities for personal growth, lifelong friendships, and even career paths in entertainment. Why the Northeast matters. Focusing casting efforts on the Northeast could bring a fresh dynamic to the show. The region's mix of cultures, professions, and personalities has the potential to create compelling storylines and unexpected alliances. From fast-talking city dwellers to laid-back rural residents, the diversity within the Northeast could lead to a season filled with contrasts and surprises. This regional spotlight also gives applicants who may have felt overlooked in the past a chance to shine. Taking the leap. Courage is required for Big Brother applications. It means putting yourself out there, embracing vulnerability, and being willing to take a risk. But for those who have ever imagined themselves in the house, forming alliances, winning competitions, and hearing the words, "You are safe," this is the moment to act. The casting call is more than just an opportunity to be on TV. It's a chance to challenge yourself, to step outside your comfort zone, and to be part of a cultural phenomenon that has captivated audiences for decades. One thing is certain as CBS continues its search for the next unforgettable cast.
The Big Brother house is open. For Northeast hopefuls, all that's left is to walk through it.